guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to talk about puppies. New puppies! Congratulations!
So before you even bring your puppy home, there's a few things to consider. Do you have children? Are your children, do they know how to behave around a dog? They need rules and boundaries as well as does your puppy. Making sure that you have proper space for your puppy, such as, a kennel and an X-pen or just an X-pen. You want to make sure there's a safe place for your dog to go that is their quiet time.
And to your next point, puppy-proofing your house. Oh my lord, when I got Maya, she ate an Xbox headset because my ex-husband left his controller down and left for the day. So Maya ate his headset and his controller, and he was told to keep it up, but that was a very expensive trip to the mall. Yeah. So keep it up, not just children, yourself too. It takes just 2 seconds to do a sweep before you leave somewhere, just to making sure everything's up, because it's also an expensive vet trip.
Building those boundaries of these are the okay things that they can have and the things that they can't needs to be defined from the moment and day one that you bring your puppy into your home. Essentially, you're making room for another person in your life, so you need to create that space and recognize that all those things that you don't want them to get have to be off limits for them.
I like to say another thing is educate yourself. Educate yourself on the breed. Educate yourself on the grooming needs. A lot of people will get these dogs and say, it's hyperallergenic, but you have to brush them every day. Grooming and getting a groomer is very hard. So make sure that you are doing your research and knowing what you're getting into. If you don't like dog hair, don't get a lab, because they shed like crazy. Make sure you're researching your breeders. There is a lot of unethical breeders out there. It's unfortunate, but I've seen it too many times, and then you end up with a very sick dog. And vets are not inexpensive, and they're really hard to find. I also suggest looking for a vet before you even get a puppy. See who's taking on new dogs and say, I'm picking up my puppy in 6 weeks. I would like to, get on your waiting list or, hopefully get into the vet, because right now it is super hard in the valley.
In the excitement of getting that puppy with you, once you take them, you usually end up coming to visit us. Nail trimming. You gotta get a set of nail clippers. I implore everybody to get yourself a set of nail trimmers, because otherwise little puppies' nails that grow really, really fast will have little talons that will soon scratch while you're cuddling with your puppy. A collar, a leash, just so that they can get used to it, especially the younger you start, the better it is going forward as they get older.
It doesn't have to be expensive. Your dog is going to grow. He or she will probably go through, I'm going to say, at least 2 or 3 collars before they hit full grown. And then if you're anything like me, they just have to have one for every day of the week type thing.
So with your puppy also, you're going to want to do a little bit of training with them, or just to get them to be exposed to different things, and usually that means engaging their nose with some treats. So puppy-appropriate treats, usually you'll start out with their kibble, and then you can move on to a few tastier, smellier kind of treats. But definitely something that's good to start off the training right from day one when you bring puppy home.
Yes.
Right? Like, you don't have to wait forever,
No,
6 months or so.
Start right away.
You want to start from day one when you bring them home. And then, of course, where are we going to put those treats? You could end up with pockets like mine, where you end up with crumbs all in the bottom of them, but my washer sure isn't happy about it. So I highly recommend a treat pouch as opposed to Ziploc bags.
Yes.
An ID tag on your puppy. This is always the fun thing. Once you figured out the name of your puppy, you need to put that on a tag. And you need to put it with some information. So that way, if puppy ever wanders off, we can do our due diligence to take a look at where puppy came from and return you back to home.
Our tag machine can do 4 lines on the front and the back. So you can do your phone number, your spouse's phone number, even your address. I've seen people that have added their microchip number or various emergency contacts. tags are pretty smart now. You can add a lot of information in a little space. So put as much as you need or you think you may need.
So Jill had mentioned microchips, putting that microchip number on your puppy or on your puppy tag. I think it's very important to have those chips because you can take that puppy anywhere to any vet. I don't know.
Humane societies.
Humane societies, the OSPCA, that sort of thing, and they can scan and find out where that puppy belongs. Luckily, in this day and age, we have Facebook and Instagram and all of those wonderful tools that puppies go up and they find their homes. But it could be faster and maybe not have a night spent in the OSPCA or a Humane Society. So I definitely recommend having that done. It's fairly inexpensive. There's always clinics going on, and yeah, I mean, to me, it's an important thing.
Even being in a community that a lot of the families are very transient, make sure you update your microchip. Yeah. Even going in and putting your new address. A lot of people forget that. Or if you just adopted a dog, make sure the microchip is transferred to your name. So if they're to call or scan, they see that the dog is actually yours, not Joe from halfway across the country that's going to get a call. Make sure that you actually update it with your information. The websites are pretty easy to find. And then for me personally, I actually got my chips scanned every year that I went for my annual shots. My husky actually lost 2 chips over her lifetime. It was in her neck fat and it would just absorb and go down her body, or she'd actually reject it. I didn't know that was a thing until I had the dog that happened to. So actually getting it scanned, a lot of the times they say the dog doesn't have a chip at the SPCA. A lot of them do now. So maybe it was a case of that dog actually just rejected its chip.
Chew toys. Having natural or reusable, you need to have something available that is okay and that puppies should be gnawing on. So that way it's not my expensive pair of heels.
We have some great new toys that are double duty actually. So we have some ones from FooFit and Canada Pooch that are actually freeze and floats. So they're both water toys, and then you actually soak them and freeze them. So they're great toys in general, water toys, and they're great teethers.
Yeah, especially
and
for
cools them
puppies.
down. Yeah, they're the perfect starter toy. Getting a dual action one is a really good way for puppies.
Absolutely.
All right. This one is always something that I really like to talk about, are the things that you should avoid. So with new pet owners, and even some of the, the ones that have already been well-seasoned dog owners, what should we be avoiding for puppy?
Yeah.
So one of them would be rawhides. Why are we avoiding rawhides, guys?
So rawhide is basically the hide of the animal, and what happens is it is bleached to remove all the hair and turn it white, but it also has formaldehyde in it, which is a preservative, but instead of it digesting in the stomach, it can swell, but it can also swell in their throat. So a lot of times, and it has happened in the past where that rawhide got stuck in the throat and swelled, and the dog was obviously choking and couldn't get air because it swelled as opposed to, not. So with that being said, even any treats, make sure that you are present and watching your puppy.
And also, we also want to make sure that our dogs are steering clear of bones, especially cooked bones.
That's right. And we do sell raw bones, but we tend to have those for later on in life because at this point the puppy's digestive system is not kind of ready to handle something like that. So we want to make sure that we kind of save that for later on when they're like 6, 7, 8 months old, as opposed to when they're 8, 9, 10 weeks.
All right. Another thing too are anti-pull harnesses.
I would even say harnesses in general. You take from a puppy, they're not going to have a perfect heel. They're not going to know how to walk. So teaching them how to do it properly from day one, rather than put a harness on them that's going to encourage them to pull. Or the anti-pull harnesses that are just going to throw them off. they don't know otherwise. So taking that time.
Yeah. And the idea of pull harnesses are not bad. It's the fact that you don't know how to use it properly. And if that's the way you want to go, we will support you in that, but we will also support you in the sense that we will show you how to use it properly so you don't harm your dog.
Pee pads. Of course, with brand new puppies, everybody goes reaching for the pee pads right away. Now, potty breaks are going to happen. They're going to be in a timely manner as much as us as humans can manage it. But other than pee pads, is there anything else that you guys would?
Well, I'd like to add to the pee pad thing. The problem is, it's not the pee pad itself. It's why am I going to teach my dog to pee on a pad when I want them to pee outside? Why don't I just take them outside instead? It just means that you're not training them twice. So keep it as simple as possible. And you know, when you're working, especially the new puppy, you're just taking them out every 20 minutes after they eat, after they play, and after they've had a drink. Just take them out, and lots of praise. Doesn't mean you have to treat them every time, but lots of praise and good dog, that sort of thing. So the first two training tips that I think I would suggest is a way to get your puppy's attention. So that I would use the word look. Some people will use watch me or watch. It's totally up to you what word you want to use. And then the other one is a sit. And those are two very basic commands that we can use to begin with. To teach the sit, basically what you want to do is you're going to take your treat and you're going to put it right in front of the puppy's nose and just slightly move your hand back. Make sure you're not holding your hand too far up, because what will happen is your dog will try to jump for the treat. So make sure that treat is right down by their nose and just push back a little bit, and all of a sudden that bum will hit the floor and you're gonna say sit and give them the treat. The look. So what you're gonna do, in your right hand, you're gonna take your treat and you're gonna hold it out to your side and you're going to ask your dog to look. As soon as your dog looks at you, you give them the treat. That's it. That's all it is. Sometimes you'll have to wait them out.
So you can use this in everyday practice. For me, when I started working with sit and look, every time they would go outside, they would sit and look. Every time they would have a meal, they would sit and they would look. Even walks, every time I got to an intersection, they were to sit, look, and then they were given the release to cross the road. You don't have to necessarily do a 30-minute training session. Just do it in everyday life and start with the basics.
Yeah, even my dogs now, I can say, look, and they come running from whatever room they're in because they think they're getting something special. And sometimes it's just like, yeah, good dogs, and other times they get a treat.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed our video on all the things puppy, basically. Congratulations again on your new puppy. If you liked what we talked about or liked some of the ideas for items to get, we'll link some puppy items in our description, different things you should look at or buy. If you like what we talked about, feel free to comment. Tell us what kind of puppy you got. Let us know. Give us an intro of your new little fur buddy.
If you liked what you've seen in this video, do go ahead and give us a like. Make sure that you share this with your friends if there's any tips for their new puppies that you thought that they could use. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can tune in and get your video next week as well. Thanks, guys.
Bye now.